Hi everyone, welcome to my channel License to Roam. You can follow me on Twitter/X at Edward Stratman. And if you enjoy the video, would really appreciate a like, subscribe, and any comments as I continue to grow the channel. Right, for this analysis, I'll be focusing on Kai Havertz, who continued his excellent form with a fine showing in Arsenal's win over Luton in a match where his assist helped propel him to 4 goals and 3 assists in his last 6 games to boost his season EPL tally to 8 goals and 4 assists. Obviously operating in his central attacking role, which he interpreted with customary intelligence to impact the play on either side of Luton's last line, plus showed that technical wizardry and crafty interchanging with his teammates. This underlined what an asset he is to Arteta's Arsenal. Right, on to the analysis of the multifaceted, confident and fully firing Havertz, and the passage for his assist is a fine place to start. Obviously, that depth running was just a real feature of his game. And obviously, Luton lose the ball here. Arsenal pick it up, and Havertz is alert to that gap, makes the run. Obviously, this serves as the catalyst for the goal, as then he can then, control the ball cleanly, assess his options, and then wait for Odegaard to join the play in the box as he continues his run. And then he strikes it first time with aplomb after Havertz fed him with a really nice ball that he could just run onto nicely and could just, not really break stride and take full advantage of the situation. So just a really nice way to impact. And this is one of the ways, along with many, that we'll touch on. Obviously, his movement was just a huge thorn in the side, and the depth movement here you can see. Obviously, initially, he's pinned 2 Luton defenders there, and that's created the space for Odegaard to dynamically, dart into that space there, being a forward-facing posture, and he's just such a wizard on the ball, and he scans, and he knows that Havertz will in turn make that run in behind as he notices the centre-back push up. So I guess it's pretty cool. Havertz initially created the space, then he exploited the space made by the marker stepping out, so he could surge in behind there and be a real threat. So just really nice piece of play that. Obviously, his pinning of markers and the way he helped his teammates was so beneficial, like we saw in the last one, but here too, where he's got multiple players around him there and he's just pinning, making that room for Emile Smith-Rowe to shoot in the box. And this kind of thing just amplifies his threat to sort of occupy opponents. To make that much room for a teammate in the box is quite a special talent. And yeah, it's just really cool, and it sort of underlines the threat he has now these days. He's just such a huge weapon that can hurt defenders in many ways, with and without possession. Obviously, another example of him pinning 2 markers, and that perfectly creates a channel for Smith-Rowe to dart into the box there. So just so influential in this game. And this actually led to Arsenal's second goal. So, pretty cool that he was involved in both of Arsenal's goals, one with a direct, tangible contribution like an assist, and one like this in terms of space creation, just to illustrate his threat. And obviously, having a player like Havertz who's got that size, got that underrated strength, he offers them a really great target, and some physicality and a top reference point. And he's just such a great asset to use for goal kicks or when they need to beat the press to go long. And you notice Arsenal's second ball setup is quite excellent here. You got the 2 wingers nearby, you got Odegaard nearby, you got Smith-Rowe nearby, and it's just, you've obviously got options for nod downs and the flick on. In this situation, he wins the flick on. Trossard's anticipating it, and he's already got the separation, got the momentum going forward facing, and he attacks the flick on and has a decent opening on goal. So just can instantly turn something out of nothing into something with just this aerial ability, and just the way he links play is just so important and just offers them so many ways to progress up the pitch. Obviously, this is another nice example how he initially sort of dropped deep to connect the play, and then he'd instantly dart in behind. So not admiring his work, sort of that double impact in a short space of time, never resting on his laurels. So just always making things happen, and has that great relationship with Odegaard especially, and his other teammates, and just offers a nice outlet to always impact in the final third. Obviously, here's his dropping deep, caused huge issues for Luton, who were sort of a little bit in 2 minds whether to follow him. And here he's perfectly formed the 4v3 just to receive the pass there, and just to get involved and help Arsenal get up the pitch, just to connect the play essentially there and really put them in an ideal spot to progress the ball upfield. Another one here, he's just timing that drop smartly, forming the overload. In this one, it's a 5v4, and then he can facilitate a 3rd-man combination. Obviously, he scans, so he can spin, he can, go on the dribble, hit a creative pass, and then even shoot if he needs to. So just making his presence felt all over the pitch, on the ground and in the air, and just forever asking questions of his opponents and giving his team solutions. Another nice one there where he's just smartly dropped, formed that 4v3, can then play the 3rd-man combination, turn, whatever he wants to do, with just that game IQ, just the knowledge of the angles, and the way he could help his team get up the field was just so cool. And this was a nice one. He just really leads the line for Arsenal with aplomb in so many ways. This is one of his really excellent, superbly timed run in behind, where he initially drops deep and then turns on a dime with that sort of double movement, checks back into the space that he initially vacated, so that he can then be a top outlet in behind there. So yeah, just so many many ways he impacted proceedings, but yeah, just that spatial awareness, tactical awareness, and just the exploitation of space that he opens up for himself and also when teammates open it up for him. Another nice one where he's curved his run in behind so he can get that separation from his marker, gain the speed, and then attack the last line while staying onside just to get in between those two markers there into the box in a really threatening position. So just really cool, and just underlined his smarts and that he doesn't need much room to create damage and that he has a lot of thought that goes into all his movements, a lot of intent, and it just really helps Arsenal have another dimension in the final third. Another one here, nice run in behind, spots Odegaard on the ball, on his left foot, head up. You know, he knows that he can thread that pass, and he just, a lot of the time, he just take a couple of steps to his side, sort of do a little semicircle, and he could attack the space and have that nice bit of momentum. So really impressive stuff, his depth running, forward momentum, and he just peeled off markers to buy that little bit of room so he could actually control the ball, you know, with a bit of space around him. Same as this one here, where he's just done that little sort of lateral movement while going forward, almost diagonal, then curve the run to get on the end of the through ball there to get inside the box and have a quality shot for himself. So just so damaging. Gives himself that little bit more extra time with those little couple of steps, and yeah, just very classy and intelligent. Even though he missed the shot, it was still a great little bit of work. Same here with that run. He's peeled wide. He's rotated with Trossard. The defenders are in two minds. They've sort of blown that marking assignment. And then Havertz can get in behind there. Brilliant pass by Zinchenko, but just really clever. He'd obviously do some nice interchanges with his teammates, and this was a really quality one. And that put him in a great position to run in behind to get into that final third and wreak havoc. Same situation here where he's rotated with Nelson, and he can exploit the blind side of the markers. They haven't picked him up. They're sort of a little bit discombobulated there, not sure who to be marking, and that's what Arsenal do to teams, and he duly exploits that space there, and just to mix things up and add some variety to Arsenal, never letting opponents settle into a pattern of how best to stop them. This is a pretty cool one, essentially a triple rotation. You got Odegaard, Havertz, and Nelson, and then that just opens up a nice passing lane for Havertz to get in behind. So there's of course so many dilemmas for markers with their fluid system that the players and Arteta have done such a great job bringing to life. Another situation here, nice little interchange with Smith Rowe and Trossard there, and he ends up as the widest player there, and it's just really conducive to quick combination play, disrupting and manipulating marking structures to then unlock the back line there. So defenders have got so much to worry about, especially when their markers are going into different areas, just no sort of reference points on what they should be doing, and it just gives Arsenal enough time, like a split second, all they need to then punish this little bit of a mix-up. So just really another cool feature of his play. Same as this, just that dropping deep and occupying nice areas and working with his teammates. Obviously Smith Rowe darted into that space, and Havertz's man has gone to him. That's formed the 2v1, and then Smith Rowe just plays a nice dink to Havertz, who's completely free to charge upfield into the final third. Caused a real nuisance of himself like he did throughout his time afield. So there's this heat map just showing the areas he occupied, obviously quite deep in many instances and obviously high as well. So he did it all from that central attacking post, essentially false nine that he's just made his own. And he's just a real asset to Arsenal and brings them to life in so many ways, in an attacking sense and obviously on the defensive side of the ball too. It says the connections map showing where he's positioned, showing the link with his teammates. And yeah, that's obviously central was his key area. But those little rotations added some nice nuance and unpredictability and just kept his opponents guessing while making room for himself and others. So it was a really great performance by Havertz again, and just proved how far he's coming on in leaps and bounds under Arteta after coming in for some heavy criticism. Obviously, Martin Keown summed up his game and what great form he's in lately. He said he's so intelligent. He goes through as a centre-half. You want someone to mark. But when he keeps disappearing into midfield all the time, you get a bit nervous. And suddenly he's there with 2 or 3 other players, so he can be really effective. And that's working for Arsenal. All right, that's the end of the analysis on the Arsenal ace, who continues to go from strength to strength this season and will be a key weapon in Arsenal's quest for glory in the remainder of the season, both domestically and in Europe. All right, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Really appreciate it and enjoy hearing your opinion. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video and have a great day. Stay tuned for the next analysis.